Hey everybody, no time for an intro today. Just two really quick things. I've been putting timestamps for every part so far to make sure that you guys can skip to the next one. I'm not exactly sure if they're working so far because I've checked 3 different ways, and for me it's not showing up. I don't know if it's because I'm using the Capture app or if it's because I'm using the iPad. So if someone in the comments can let me know if these timestamps are working or not, and if not, if you can let me know what's going on, that would be great. That's basically the only thing. The second thing is, today we're getting down to the top 20. And there's a lot of information that I want to go through as quickly as possible, because I wrote down about 2.5 pages of notes, front and back. They're all scribbled, but there's still a lot of information that I want to go through. So I'm going to try to go as quickly as possible. But please do note that there are a lot of really good albums. And honestly, if I looked again, I'm pretty sure only 5 of the top 20 are in the Rolling Stone one. And I don't know if a lot of people know about these particular CDs. So if you don't, now's a great time to check them out. And know that some of these could have actually gone into the top 10. I think once we get to about 15, 14, any of these could have made the top 10. Even 16 possibly. So definitely know that these are really tough now that we're getting to it. So anyways, number 20, without further ado, is Eminem's The Marshall Mathers LP2. Now, I've been a huge Eminem fan, not since his debut, but as a teenager. I definitely listened to. He was the first true rap artist that I listened to, and I've always really loved his lyrical ingenuity, as well as the references he does. And there's always so much to his songs that it's crazy that you can't listen to it just once, because there are all these references that you don't get the first time through. Where it's like, oh wait, pause this. Did he just say this? And did it just tie with this? And like, when I think about him as a rapper, I think he jokes around a lot, and it is awesome because there's not a lot of people who do that the way that he does. Or I honestly don't know how he gets all his lyrics together, because everything seems so calculated one after another. It's crazy to think of the logical steps that he takes, because I honestly can't think that way. And it's amazing. And this CD, without a doubt, does not, leave you short for that either. I mean, Rap God is probably one of his crowning achievements, honestly, in terms of rap. Is it Lose Yourself? No. Is it? I don't know if it's going to be as memorable as that, but it's up there for, one of those songs that will stand a test of time to me because of his lyrical prowess, and just how he takes this song and warps it around. It's like honestly like a great jazz improviser, where it starts very slow and then just keeps on building, goes all these crazy places that you wouldn't expect. And that's just one of them. And then there's all these other great songs. And the best part about the CD, more than anything that I love, is that he used a lot of older tracks on his album. Whereas, Talib Kweli used a lot of jazz kind of stuff. Childish Gambino and Kanye West used a lot of darker tones in order to get their points across. This is a lot more taking back to 60s music, 70s and 80s. Berserk, the lead single, which I thought was crappy at the time, it grows on you definitely, and it uses "Fight for Your Right" by Beastie Boys, as well as I'm gonna get this wrong. There we go. Nope. "The Stroke" by Billy Squier. So it uses 2 80s songs and captures them so well. And then you got "Rhyme or Reason," which is one of my favorite songs on the CD. It's also because of the track that he uses, because he uses "Time of the Season" by the Zombies, which is, for those of you who don't know, an early 60s song, rock song, and then you have So Far, which uses Life's Been Good to Me by Joe Walsh, a very, very popular 70s rock song. And what's cool is that he seems to get past a lot of his, demons in this CD, where he's now getting to the point of his life where he's had the success, he's had the failure, now he's back there, and it's life after that, and it's kind of interesting to listen to. Like, So Far talks about, his life after all the fame and all the failure, and then coming back and trying to live in an age where he's like, with Facebook, with Twitter, with stuff that he doesn't understand as much, and trying to live a normal life with it too. So that, I think, is a really cool concept, because I don't really hear a lot of those types of songs. And then he has a song called Headlights by Nate, featuring the lead singer from Fun, which the vocals aren't really needed that much. I don't really like them, but it's kind of because I don't really like his voice as much as some other singers out there. But the overall message is him forgiving and asking for forgiveness from his mom, who, if you've listened to a lot of his work, Clean Out My Closet, some of his other stuff, he does bash his mom a lot, but now he's at an age where he realizes what his mom did for him and asks for forgiveness, and it's a really touching moment. So it's really nice to see all this maturity, and I haven't even touched on some of the other most popular songs, like The Monster is a great song, and if you watch the music video, it actually goes back to a lot of his other music videos from the past, like Lose Yourself and Without Me. It's really cool to take a look into the retrospect, what he's done in the past and see where he is now. Survival was a single used for, I think it was for Call of Duty, and I honestly don't like it that much, but that's also a somewhat popular song. And then not popular, but one of the cooler songs on there is Love Game with Kendrick Lamar, and it's the first song that I really like with Kendrick Lamar on it. And for those of you who don't know, it also harkens back another song, an older one with like a doo-wop version. It's a Game of Love by Wayne Fontana and I'm gonna get that wrong, and the Mindbenders. Oh, here's my notes, everybody. A lot of notes. Yeah, so I love the contrast of really, really old time with brand new, fresh new stuff, and the lyrics just work very well. Why is it at 20? It's at 20 because it is a long, long rap album. By itself, it's 78 minutes, and then with the deluxe album, it is 102 minutes. That's longer than some movies out there, and it's not all bad. There are a lot of great songs, but when you have it that long, it does tend to go on, linger a lot more than it should. And there are a lot of songs I haven't talked about which aren't as memorable to me because of all of this. But if you are going to listen to it, definitely listen to the deluxe album, because there's a lot of other cool songs that personally weren't on there. Like Wicked Ways is it's what I believe is what should have ended the original album. Right now it's Evil Twin, and it was a really cool song, but I do like Wicked Ways a lot more. And then you got Beautiful Pain, which could have been a single. Groundhog Day is another funny song. So like all, it's a great CD. It just is a little bit too long, and as you'll see, like these next couple CDs, if you put the deluxe album with the next 2 or 3 CDs, I believe that would still be longer than all 3 of them. So if you have time, definitely listen to it, but realize that it is a long, long process. All right, 19. and some people might think this is weird, especially since this is now, I believe, well, this is one of the last rap albums on on my list. And why is it higher than a CD that is, really, really amazing? But I think why it's there is because of it's a lot shorter, but it works a lot better. And it is the self-titled album by Starbomb. If you guys have never heard of Starbomb, this is a rap group created by Game Grumps, and Game Grumps is a channel on YouTube that play video games. They put out videos daily, and it's like a let's play, but it's really, really funny. And so they put together a group, and it's Aaron Hansen and Dan Avedon, and Dan Avedon and Ninja Brian are in a group called Ninja Sex Party, which is a funny like 80s kind of feel band, and a lot of their songs are very, very quick, but they're really, really funny. Like No Reason Boner is a great one. If We Were Gay, just a lot of these 3 minutes of ecstasy. They're all raunchy songs, but they're really funny and they're really short. So Ninja Sex Party and Aaron Hansen create a group. Aaron raps and Danny sings, and they call themselves Starbomb. And all of their songs are based off of video games. So they're making fun of Link, they're making fun of Mario, they made fun of Samus, mostly Nintendo stuff, but also some Final Fantasy things. And while not necessarily as lyrical genius as some of Eminem stuff, it works for what it is, and I love it. I listen to it constantly, and whereas Eminem was 78 minutes, this was 26 minutes, so this is the shortest album on my list, and all of them work very well. And what I love most is that the harmonies and the ideas that Dan uses on the backing vocals to complement Aaron, because they could have easily just did something really, really quick just to appease Game Grump fans and Ninja Sex Party fans, but there was a lot of time and energy that went into it. There's a lot of really cool harmonies, especially in Luigi's Ballad. There's a really good harmony between him and the girl playing Peach. You have I Choose You to Die has a lot of really, really good harmonies as well. Let's see what else there is. There's It's Dangerous to Go Alone has some really pretty good harmonies. And all in all, everything just works very well. My one complaint is that a lot of the topics in the songs tend to verge on the same stuff, sex, violence, all that kind of things. But then again, it's funny because it is, not what these characters had in mind. They're not. These are Nintendo brand characters. These aren't characters that sell sex or violence. It's mostly kids games. So it's funny to hear in a different context. And I think all the ideas are cool. Like you have Crashtervania, which is the idea that Simon Belmont is just killing all the monsters because he's not invited to their parties. You have Luigi's Ballad, which again, it's Luigi trying to confess up to Peach that he likes her, and then Mario tries to steal her by being a pimp, and then finally she uses Toad instead. You got Mega Marital Problems, which is Mega Man and his wife, and Dr. Wily being the psychiatrist and telling him that you need to get all the powers of all the other robots so that you can have kinky sex with his wife. I Choose You to Die is about Ash going insane and killing all his Pokemon and then going to jail. Actually, no, it's him punching Pikachu in the face and then going to jail, and then Pikachu kills him. You have Regretroid, which is Kraid finding out about how Sam is actually a girl and then trying to suck up to her. And And then you have my favorite, which is it's dangerous to go alone, which is so stupid but so funny. It's the old guy who, if you ever played the older video games, it's the old guy is like, dangerous to go alone, take this, and then he gives you the sword. But instead of it being a sword, it is his dick. I can't make it up. It does borderline sometimes on just discussing stuff, but it is funny for those who like it. If you like Game Grunts humor and you like Ninja Six Sprite humor, you're going to like this. The other complaint I have, though, is that they are very quick. I think the longest song on the album is only 2.5 minutes, maybe 3 at tops. And when you have something like that, it does seem like some of the ideas are great, but then they leave so quickly. And I understand that is comedy in general and comedy songs, but I wish there was a little bit more. And I'm happy to hear that they have a second album coming out, because maybe they will tighten this up a little bit and make longer ideas that will still be funny. So all in all, great. One other thing, I do love the different feels that Aaron gives in terms of rap. I don't know if it's necessarily every song, but like, you know, for like Simple Plot of Final Fantasy VII, which is the longest song on there, it's like a chill, laid-back rap. Then you have It's Dangerous to Go Along, where it's more like an 80s feel, like early rap. And then you have Sonic's Best Pal, which is also a pretty funny song. I forgot about that one. It's about Tails getting addicted to PCP and just going on a crazy bender, killing Dr. Eggman and all this stuff. And the way that Aaron raps on it is more like Rage Against the Machine. So each one of them has a different type of style. So great CD. Both the last two are really, really good rap albums. So don't think that just because one's one higher means that it's so much better. It's take or pick. Do you want a longer one or do you want a shorter one? So that's 19. 18 is Pentatonix Volume 2. This is another really, really short CD. It's only 30 minutes long, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like there's so much content, even though it's a short album. But I do wish there was more, just like with Starbomb. So that's my only real big complaint. But if you don't know the Pentatonix, they were on the Sing Off, which is an a cappella competition, and they won it. They hands down won it, and they are now one of the biggest a cappella groups in the world. They're going to be on, it'll come back to me. It's a movie that's coming out. What I love about them most is that their ideas are very, very creative, because you can do some pretty easy stuff with a cappella, make it pretty lackluster, or you can totally change the idea of some of the songs. Like, alright, Hey Mama, Hit the Road. I don't know if Hey Mama is an original song or not, but like when you have Hit the Road Jack, a staple for a Ray Charles song, and they take this other part and make it so much different than what it usually is. It's great to hear something so refreshing. And then you have Can't Hold Us, which isn't as, original in terms of what they did, but how they arranged it made it feel so amazing. And it's amazing, like, how many different, how much I love the CD in terms of all the other stuff on it, because before I heard the CD, I used to love the last song on there, which is Save the World and Don't You Worry Child. It's the Swedish House Mafia mix. And it's now honestly become one of my least favorite songs on there because everyone else is so good. So if you have this amazing song and it's pale in comparison to everything else, they're doing something right. And there's a lot of original songs on there. Natural Disaster is really, really cool. And it has a more earthy kind of feel. Then you have Run to You, which reminds me of Hide and Seek, because there's no background part for the most part. It's just them singing together. And then you have Valentine, which has a lot of background stuff, and it has a duet. But then, like, the beginning and the end, how they work together, it's really cool. Like it's like a call and response kind of thing. And then you have um, Love Again, which is probably my favorite song on the album, just because of how cool it goes from minor to major a lot, and a lot of different creative ideas. And then I haven't even talked about the Daft Punk medley, which was really really cool, and the music video that came with it fits it very very well. And I haven't also talked about I Need Your Love, which was another cool music video. All in all, just really, really solid CD and what I would come to expect from acapella. And I wish I could do something like this eventually down the road. Maybe cover it, when I get my computer back. Just do a couple of these songs because they're really cool. And it just shows that acapella is not a one-trick pony. You can do anything with it. And case in point, the CD. All right. Number 17 is 21 Pilots Vessel. This is a CD that my friend Ian told me about when I was asking, like, I'm looking for really cool new people. What do you recommend? And he told me, oh, check out 21 Pilots. It's an amazing CD. And he wasn't wrong. I think this is probably the last rap album on there, but it's not really a rap album because it's more, it has a lot of different styles. It has rock, it has alternative, it has electric, and it has rap. And there are some times when they're not even rapping at all, so I can't really consider it a straight up rap album. If anything, I would say it's more like alternative rap. But it works very well. And it's only two people. It's Tyler Joseph and nice. Let me read Josh Dunn. That's what happens when you scribble notes. And these two have created an amazing album. And unfortunately, a lot of these songs, when I did find out, came from a previous album, but they took it off and I guess remastered all these songs. And you can't even find this particular album anymore. So I still consider it original material because I've never heard it. And it's all in this year, so I'm going to count it. And what's great about these is that there's really, really good rap. Like, a lot of the lyrics in the rap that Tyler Joseph does is really good, but it doesn't overshadow everything. It's not just about the rap. It's also about the music behind it. Hold On To You has a lot of rock feel and like really cool drum ideas, and then it just breaks down into more alternative rock kind of ideas. Or To Sleep is this 3-part, like, you have the rap, and then all of a sudden changes a different style, and then there's rock, and then there's even more. Like, it's just really cool how that one goes, and it's the beginning song on there. And then you have House of Gold, which completely takes away any of the rap. Very quick song, very funny song about, like, when I grow up, she asked me once, when I grow old, will you build me a house of gold? And if my father turns to stone, will you take care of me? And it's talking about, like, how, we all try to build this house of gold, with what we raise. But how dreams are dead and life turns on its head. Therefore, he's going to be a bum, so he just might become someone. So it's kind of a funny idea, and if you watch the video, I don't know exactly why it's like this, but it's it's a floating head, a floating torso, playing ukulele, and then it's like just a pair of legs doing kick drum, which is really funny for a very cheesy short song, which is just a great refresher. And then you have Car Radio, which is the next song, and it's completely 180, where it's talking about a guy who wishes he had his car radio because someone stole it, and now he just sits in silence and ponders all about life. And then once he starts pondering about life, it's scary, so he tries to stop that. And it's just a really interesting idea for a rap song. And then they take away a little break from it, and a lot of the songs after that are pretty more rock heavy than And then rap. You got semi-automatic, screen, the run and go, fake you out, and then they get back with guns for hands, but not fully. And that's one thing that I did wish. I wish I could have seen more rap than rock, because not that I don't want to see rock, but I wanted the two combined a little bit more. And that was basically most of the CD right there. All great songs, all really memorable. The last two aren't that great, but when you're talking about a CD where only the last two aren't that amazing, I mean, there's not much to complain about, and it's only 45 minutes, so you're talking about maybe 6-7 minutes at most. I say definitely take a listen to it. It's technically my favorite rap CD, I guess, of 2013, even though it's not all of it. So I would say like a combination of Starbomb, 21 Pilots, and Eminem, all three of them get a piece of that. But that's number 17. Number 16. And here's where my jazz friends again are going to be a little bit mad, but so be it. I have perfect reasons to explain it. So many of my friends have been talking about this band, and I love it. I love all of it. I took a listen to their full discography, and it's insane how good they are. Just incredible musicians. And for those of you who don't know, this is a band you need to listen to. I don't care if you don't like jazz or not. If you like R&B, if you like funk, if you like soul, take a listen to it, because it's an incredible band. It's on my phone constantly throughout work. It's a band called Snarky Puppy, and they came out with 2 CDs this year. I can't honestly remember the first one because it wasn't that memorable. It was a cool idea, but it was more featuring them rather than a CD by them. So I went with Family Dinner Volume 1, and this is a great CD. But why is it not, as high as, what I claim this amazing CD should be? This is their only vocal album, and not to, have any prejudice against vocals, because I love singing. That's what I do. But the problem is that once you have a vocalist being the lead, it seems like sometimes the creative ideas aren't always there, that an instrumental band can have. Because if you listen to all their other CDs and then listen to this, it's not as heavy in terms of, melodic ideas, harmonies, time signature, craziness. It's kind of tame, because you have to be a backing band rather than a band that's in the spotlight. So that's why it's not as high. But to be fair, it's still a great CD. For a vocal jazz CD, it's still really, really good. And it won Best R&B Performance at Grammys with the person I told you to remember, Lala Hathaway, with Something. And it is a fantastic song. Even if you don't listen to the CD, listen to that song and how she, scats and how much she puts into this song. And there's also a little special thing where she actually does double tones. And for those who don't know what that is, it's being able to split your voice and your singing into 2 tones, and so that you can hear 2 distinct tones while you're singing. It's very complicated. I don't even know how to even start with that, but it's something amazing to watch. If you watch the video, the drummer actually falls out of his seat after hearing that, because he was not expecting that whatsoever. So that's a great song on there. The first song, Free Your Dreams, is a nice way to start. It's with, I'm going to butcher some of these names, but Shante Clavin. I'm sorry for butchering. I can't even read my own handwriting right now. If you want to look it up and tell me that I'm wrong, feel free, because this is, these handwritings should be a little bit better. Then, honestly, for me, the standout song is Gone Under with Shayna Steele. And it's not as cool as, say, something in terms of vocal interpretation and the technique that it is, but I just think it's a really cool song, because it builds very slowly and then goes guns blazing at the end. It's just a really, really cool song to listen to. And there's some pretty cool half-step ideas / I think it was like 7/4 ideas in terms of time signature at some point, and just works really well. Then you have a really interesting song called Deep featuring Ndabi, which is, it has like clarinet and bassoon in it too, so that's really cool. Just a nice, interesting ideas, and Ndabi has a really low voice, so it really works well with the style. That's the great thing about all these songs, is that every one of these songs is fit towards the singer. I don't know if Snarky Puppy actually arranged all these songs, or if it was the singer himself, but they all fit the singer perfectly. Then you have one of my favorite songs on there, Amok, which is, it's kind of like I don't know how to explain it. It's more like an upbeat, like parade kind of song. It has, I'm going to butcher this one too, but her name is Magda Giannikou, and she sings French and she plays accordion, and it's just a blast to listen to. It's a quick song, and it's really, really fun. It makes you start dancing if you take a listen to it. And then honestly, the only other song on there that is really, really cool to me is Turned Away, which features the only male vocalist on the CD, and that is Tony Scher. And it's a nice blues feel to it. The other two songs aren't that memorable, which again is also kind of a problem, because whereas like 2 of 10, 2 of 11 isn't too bad, when you have 8 songs on there, having 2, not so memorable, and even I would say Turned Away isn't as great. Deep is alright. When you have 4 standout songs, and then 2 alright songs and 2 forgettable ones, it's going to be a little bit lower, but it's still a great CD. I would say, if you want to get into them, definitely listen to this one, because this is the most approachable. And then if you like this and you want to hear some of their instrumental craziness, go nuts with all the rest of the discography. Also, just a word, even though this is number 16, that doesn't mean that they're going away anytime soon. They came out with a new CD this year, and that is one of the only CDs that I've listened to of 2014. I've been very, very strict with my listening. I wanted to get this 2013 stuff done first, so I've been holding myself back. There's a lot of CDs that I want to listen to. The only one I really broke off for was We Like It Here, because I've been hearing rave reviews. Everyone's been telling me, listen to it. I've listened to it maybe 5, 6, 7 times already, and I honestly say, I don't think there's going to be a lot that tops it this year. I think it could be the number 1 album, and it's it's a jazz album, and it would be nice if this got the recognition it deserved, even maybe getting album of the year for Grammys, because that'd be a huge step to see a jazz album get the recognition it deserves. So that's 16, and I know I've been talking a lot more this time, but there's so much that I need to go through with these ones, so these ones are going to be a little bit longer. I apologize for that. I'm going to try to get the last 5 a little bit quicker. Alright, 15 is Sevendust, Black Out the Sun. It's a pretty, in terms of metal, in terms of rock CDs, it's pretty quick. It's only 44 minutes. Pretty standard, actually. I never listened to a Sevendust CD, though I've heard plenty about them. And, I finally took the initiative to listen to a CD by them. And to me, it's one of the most polished metal CDs that I've listened to in a while, even though it's not like, technically difficult or just like really cool concepts or anything like that. It's a very, very, very polished metal CD. It's only like, in terms of just polished metal CDs without concepts, it's number 2 for me this year. It's just really, really cool to listen to a CD that has so many memorable songs, and with the polish it has, because not a lot of metal CDs have that. For me, it seems like a lot of metal CDs are hit and miss with that kind of ideas, where like you can have a lot of really cool songs, but then everything else would be pretty forgettable. Whereas this one, I can remember almost every song on there. I listened to it constantly during last summer, and I still listen to it on repeat every now and then. There's not a lot of songs that just stand out in terms of like this is the best song or this is a defining moment in metal, but everything just works so well, and that's honestly all I can really say about this CD. If you like metal, definitely listen to it. Personally, my favorite songs on there, or some of my favorite songs, are Faithless, Black Out the Sun, Decay, which is their single on it, Picture Perfect, and then probably my favorite song on there, with Killswitch Engage, is Got a Feeling, which is their only like really slow song, literally like ballady kind of song, but it has so much presence to it and so much feeling in it. There was one time where I shed a tear for it because it is a beautiful song, as much as a metal song can be. So if you love metal, take a listen to it. It's a really great, really polished, and it's not that long. And that's all I can say. And then, like with Snarky Puppy, there's they have a CD coming out this year called The Travelers and Bonfires. And I haven't listened to it yet. I'm waiting to listen to it. It's an acoustic CD, so I'm curious to hear it. But it is a lot of new ideas, and I hope it's just as good as this CD. Alright, 4 more. We have, at 14, Paramore. Their self-titled album. To me, this is probably the most surprising CD on the list. Not in terms of like, I'm shocked that's here, or that I'm shocked that it's this high. But when I think of Paramore, when I thought of Paramore, like I think of Misery Business. I think of That's What You Get. I think of all their like, teenage angst songs and all these things, and like, this guy shouldn't be with this girl, he should be with me, kind of thing. And I haven't actually listened to a full Paramore album until this one, and I was curious because I've heard different things. I heard, this was a good CD. I've heard it's meh, but I wanted to listen to it for myself. And when I put it on for the first time, it was weird to me in terms of like, I was not expecting what was going on. Fast in My Car was a completely different idea from what I've always thought of, because I've always heard like very, very fast songs, and I just hear this very slow, very not alt rock, but like different type of rock that I usually hear from them. And I was thinking, this is more mature sound than I've heard. And as I kept going, everything seemed so much more mature than what I had thought it was going to be. And it is really cool to be so surprised, especially when you think of a lot of bands out there. Usually what type of stuff they're putting out, and usually if it's a surprise, it's usually for the worst than for the best. So it was cool to see just something so different that I wasn't used to. And like, this is like the first CD where I would say that this could have been in the top 10, but didn't make it, because almost every song on the album is memorable, and it has its own different like style and personality. Because you have the slowest of Fast in My Car. Now it's kind of like not a reggae, but like No Doubt kind of feel. And then you have personally my favorite song, Angle Biters, which is like this fast-paced punk fuck you kind of feel, and it's just really cool. It's only 2 minutes long, so it's what you expect from a punk song, but it's just really, really fun. Something to bang your head to. Then you have Daydreaming, which is kind of like popish kind of feel. Then you also have Still Into You, which is probably the most pop song on there. Then you have Ain't It Fun, which is more of like a 80s kind of feel to it, with with a gospel section at the end, and it's also one of my favorite songs on there. Then you have part 2, which is just heavy song that is right after Ain't It Fun, and it just it's a completely different style, but like it works really well right after it. And then you have what else? You got like Last Hope, which is a great song. You have One of Those Crazy Girls, which is a really funny song about a girl being a stalker to a guy and not knowing it, which is really funny, especially from hearing it from a female's perspective. Just all great songs. Hate to See Your Heart Break is a sad, somber song about, you know, a girl. It seems like to me an older girl seeing a younger guy get his heart broken, and it's a moving song, and it's showing where Hayley Williams and Paramore is in terms of maturity. I think they're only a couple of years older than me, like 4, I believe, but they still have a great sense of maturity, and it's great to see this step, and I hope to see a lot more from them. Hayley Williams had an amazing couple of months, you know, with that, and then being on a Zed CD, you know, performing on American Idol, and I think there's so much more that can be done with them. And when I do think of, you know, unfortunately when I do think about female singers, I usually do tend to think of pop and, you know, all these things, and like singers who do a lot of party anthems and stuff like that. So it's nice to see a breather from that and something so mature. And maybe I could see from them, you know, a concept album someday that could be really, really cool, especially for a band that is pretty popular. The only downside I would say is the last song just seems to come out of nowhere, which is Future, and it's the longest song on the album, and it just feels a little bit weird in ending it that way. It's a pretty long song for a long CD for a rock album. It's 63 minutes, but it's worth every penny. 3 more, and then we're done. 13 is another CD cut that I could have seen in the top 10, and it's A Day to Remember's Common Courtesy. Holy shit, this was an awesome album. From first song to last, it was, you know, like it was rock on 11. It's a great CD. Really cool lyrics. Everything was it's just like a great spot for me because I love this type of music. I didn't used to love it as much as a kid, but I love it now. Like just hard rock / metal, screamo, whatever you want to call it, and just really cool ideas, really cool lyrics, and just it hits all the right notes for me. It starts off right with City of Ocala and then goes right into Right Back At It Again, which is a great single from them, and probably to me one of their best songs that they've done. To me, this whole CD is their best CD, and a lot of them could be, you know, on their top 5 best songs ever. I'm Already Gone is a great transition, where it's a pretty somber song, you know, talking about life and feeling like you don't belong in any particular place. Sometimes You're the Hammer, Sometimes You're the Nail is also a really cool song, even though it has a lot of screaming, and I'm not a huge fan of that. Best of Me is a great, just to me, it's a great rock song. It's not like the best song on there, but it's consistent and it hits all the right notes for me. Life at 11 is also like that. I Surrender is like that. And then End of Me is probably, to me, other than Right Back At It Again, is my favorite song on there. It hits everything, and it starts really, really slow, which I like songs that build up, and it starts pretty somber, and then it gets to where it needs to be, because it is a song about saying, like, all right, you weren't for me, you know, let's just move on. And it starts pretty slowly, and then all of a sudden it's like builds up, and she's more, you know, angry at the end, but it's like the stages of going through a breakup where it's like, all right, this is all right, and then like, fuck you, I'm so tired of this, or like, why did this happen? Like, just a little bit of anger. So it feels real. Like, all these songs feel like it came from the heart, and it's really nice to hear that. And then the last song I remember is them talking about their time in the band. And actually, if you wait for a little bit longer, it seems like a long song, but it's actually more about them talking about their trips at the end, which is really funny to listen to if you have some time. Not too long, only 53 minutes. So pretty not too bad of a CD. I love it. If you love A Day to Remember, if you love this type of music, definitely listen to it. It's their best album yet. Number 12. This is where I go to a new page because I already ran out of room. Is Atoms for Peace. Their debut album, Amok. For those of you who don't know this band, this is pretty interesting. It has members of Radiohead, and it has members of Red Hot Chili Peppers, previous members of REM, and they all mashed together and created a band. It has Thom Yorke. I'm never sure if it's Tom Yorke or Thom Yorke. If you want to tell me in the comments, let me know. Thom Yorke, which is the Radiohead singer, Flea, the bassist from Red Hot Chili Peppers, Joey One Ranter, which is the drummer from REM, and some other people, but that's like the biggest people on there. And they made their own band, own super group, and created something that, to me, except for one other CD on the list, is the most unique CD I've heard in a while. It's what, if you're a Radiohead fan, this is what King of Limbs should have been. And I'm glad to hear this type of idea, and it makes me want to hear more of Radiohead, or more of Atoms for Peace, because this is just an interesting CD to listen to. It's not like a CD where you just bang your head like, yes, this is amazing. It's a CD that you need to sit down and listen to, and just stay quiet, and have no other stimuli, like I've said with The Terror, or some of the other CDs out there. Because this is a very complex CD, has a lot of parts. Not every song is memorable, unfortunately, but it's the ones that work so well that it takes away all the faults. You have Judge, Jury, and Executioner. You have Ingenue, which is really cool, and it has a really cool music video if you are into the stuff like that. You have Before Your Very Eyes, another really cool music video, as well as a really cool song. You have Stuck Together Pieces, Reverse Running, and like those are all the better songs. There's only a couple more after that, so it's not like the majority of the songs are bad. Most of these are very, very good, and that's why it's up here so far up on the list. Again, if you listen to Radiohead, you're not going to pretty much understand a lot of the stuff that Thom Yorke is saying, and you're used to that. But the way that he brings the lyric, and delivers the lyric, as well as his just voice control, is beautiful to listen to. Even though if you don't understand the lyrics, I looked up the lyrics and I still don't really understand it either way. But that's what he does. So if you like Radiohead, you're gonna love this CD. And honestly, I really hope that they put out another CD really soon, or Radiohead reforms and does a CD, because it itches my scratch for Radiohead music, but not enough. But great CD to listen to. Oh, also, it's not on Spotify. It's, from what I've only seen, it's only on YouTube or on iTunes. So if you're trying to look for it, YouTube is your best place to look at it. It's only 44 minutes, so I wish it was a little bit longer too, because Radiohead CDs used to tend to seem to be a little bit longer than that. But again, this isn't Radiohead, this is Atoms for Peace, so it's a little bit different. We got one more, and it was so close to be in my top 10. Like, it was inches away. I still think it could possibly be in the top 10. I don't know why I didn't put it sometimes. But to me, it's like splitting hairs for these last two. But this one, I'm so happy that my friend told me about. My friend Chrissy, really good friend of mine in Wicked Pitch, told me about this CD, or about this band. And then I took a look at it because I remembered him telling me about it. I also had another friend from a previous time tell me about this band, but I never listened to it until now. And I'm so happy I did. I was so happy that I even contacted my friend afterwards saying, like, thank you for introducing me to this band, because this is probably one of the best CDs I have heard this year. And it was almost, top 10. So close. There's only a couple reasons why, and honestly, it's like splitting hairs with me. But without further ado, this is City and Color, The Hurry and the Harm. I'm a huge fan of singer-songwriters. I'm a huge fan of acoustic guitar. And to see this brought to a level like this, just masterful work, is just a great thing to look at and listen to. It's somewhat somber, somewhat depressing, some of the songs, but his voice, which is, again, another person I need to go to the papers for, but it's Dallas Green. To hear he has a buttery, soft tone, which fits perfectly with the music that he's written. And amazing lyrics, amazing storyteller. He could be one of the better storytellers of our generation, bar none. Like, he's not like a Bruce Springsteen or a Bob Dylan type. He honestly might be closer to Bob Dylan than Bruce Springsteen. But he has a style on his own, and every song has so much personality, so much emotion put into it, that it's also sometimes painful to listen to because of how beautiful it is. And it's weird for me to say that, but everything about it, you just need to stop and listen to it, just to hear every cool thing that is put in there. Almost every song on the album is just phenomenal. Hard in the Stone is great. I'm just gonna start naming off songs, because honestly, I can't really say anything more about them without just rambling more. They're just all so great. The Hurry and the Harm is a great opening track. Of Space and Time, The Lonely Life, which is to me my favorite song on the album. It's an interesting story about if this person never knew if the writer never knew the person in question that he's talking to, or vice versa, would they stop to see him in the crowd, and be this beggar, this lonely writer. And it's really interesting to think, because, would we listen to your music if you weren't famous? Which is a really cool idea, not one that I've heard a lot before. Commentators, which is great. And the chorus I love really a lot, because it just talks about, your opinion doesn't really matter, but also I'm not going to be here to question your opinion. And I don't want to be revolutionary. No, I'm just looking for the sweetest melody. If I overstay my welcome, I'll take my things and leave, because I'm not trying to be revolutionary. And there's a line where you're all just a bunch of average commentators. It's really cool idea and a great way of bringing it together. And then another one that stands out is Two Coins, which has another great chorus, because it says, if I remember correctly, it's I've always been dark with light somewhere in the distance, which is a beautiful saying. And another part where it's like, if I have to die today, just put 2 coins under my eyelids so that I can pay the boatman's toll, which is really cool, and it brings back to the Greek mythology where there was a boatman on the river Styx, and you had to pay the toll, or else you couldn't go over to the other side. Just all in all, just a beautifully crafted CD, great lyrics, great everything. Why is it not 10? It's, again, splitting hairs. There's honestly maybe one song on there that I don't remember, but all in all, the next CD that I talk about, I think the concept is a little bit cooler, and I'll explain a little bit more. But honestly, there's not that much difference, and frankly, 14 through 10 through 9, not that much difference. So, all these CDs, take a listen to them. I'm sorry that I rambled so much. This is almost an hour's worth, but this need to get out there, and probably the next CD is going to be just as long. I mean, the next list is going to be just as long. I'm going to try to condense it a little bit more, but there's so much. I'm sorry for the rambling. I hope you enjoy it. I'll see you all tomorrow. I'll put all the links and everything in the description, timestamps, where I listen to the CDs, and I'll have a surprise announcement for you guys tomorrow. I have to finalize it tomorrow, but you should all be hearing this come the next video, which should be tomorrow, and then I'll get back to the cover videos really, really soon. So, with that, I bid you farewell.